Alright, what's going on, guys? Elden Ring has been out for over a year, and even this far from release, it still dominates the conversation on gaming and has become the new benchmark for single-player RPGs. It really can't be overstated the waves that Elden Ring made throughout the gaming industry, not only becoming the most popular From Software game to date, but also becoming one of the top 3 most awarded games of all time. But even beyond that, Elden Ring is still making history, and what we have to talk about today may finally end one of the biggest debates surrounding this game, and it has to do with Elden Ring's world. Like the world of Elden Ring, where unseen mystery lurks around every corner, the internet can also be a very confusing place with lots of potential dangers that you might not know about. And that's why today, cybersecurity is one of the most important things we can focus on. And like the internet itself, cyber attacks are evolving every day, with things like malware, phishing, password hacking, all able to happen right under your nose and without your knowledge. It's now more important than ever that you stay protected, and the partner of today's video is here to help. NordVPN is the best VPN if you're looking for peace of mind when on the internet. By encrypting your data, Nord makes sure that the only person viewing your private information is you, even when you're connected to a public network. So if you want to optimize your online safety and take advantage of the exclusive deal provided on this video, with 4 free months and a 30-day money-back guarantee, then check out the link down in the description below at nordvpn.com/Ziostorm. Once again, that's nordvpn.com/Ziostorm. So big thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get into it. Over the past week, Elden Ring has earned a very unique award, adding one of the most prominent awards a game can get to its collection. The Nebula Awards are one of the most prestigious and well-known awards in the science fiction and fantasy genres, encompassing many different medium types, such as games, books, and movies, among many others, with games becoming their own category in 2018. And the Nebulas have even been referred to as the Emmys of science fiction and fantasy stories, and this year's winner was Elden Ring. Elden Ring has scored a win at the Nebula Awards this week, netting the Best Game Writing Award for George R.R. Martin, Hidetaka Miyazaki, and From Software. The Nebulas are awarded by the Science Fictions and Fantasy Writers Association, known as the SFWA, and are one of the highest profile awards in English language speculative fiction writing. It's the 3rd prestigious Nebula win for Martin, but the first for Miyazaki and From Software. Martin has been nominated for the award more than a dozen times over his decades-long career, for the first time in 1973, while he won in 1979 and 1985 for novelettes. And here you can see the competition that Elden Ring faced last year, beating out games like Stray, Horizon Forbidden West, and Pentiment in the category of Best Game Writing. And that's actually a huge deal when it comes to understanding what exactly constitutes a game's story, and what makes good writing in a video game. Some of y'all might remember a little while ago, the massive debate that ensued after Elden Ring was nominated for Best Narrative at the Game Awards. And I made a video breaking that down at the time and going over what exactly constitutes a narrative, not only in a video game, but in a story overall. Now, while Elden Ring ultimately didn't win that award, I do believe all the points made in that video still stand. And overall, the main idea I presented was, even though the narrative in Elden Ring isn't presented in a traditional style, and is told indirectly, it does still exist and should be recognized in the same way as traditionally told narratives. But the Nebula Award paints a different picture. This one is specifically for writing. And when breaking down exactly why Elden Ring won this award, we have to approach it from a different angle. And the first question we need to ask is, what exactly is video game writing? Well, the Nebula Award criteria list game writing as an interactive or playable story-driven work which conveys narrative, character, or story background. And if we're being honest with ourselves, Elden Ring is probably the one that does all of those things the least. So why did it win? In the video breaking down Elden Ring's validity to be nominated for Best Narrative, one of the main counter-arguments to our points was lore shouldn't equal story or narrative, since it's not a main agent in the gameplay. Now, when it comes to the Nebula Award, we could quickly dismiss this as including story in that and therefore including the lore. And if we look back to the criteria, that almost definitely fits in story background. But if that's our only argument, then we're right back to the same topic of that last video. I tweeted this out after the Nebula Awards were announced, and it got a lot of attention, with people arguing on both sides, but there was a reply in there that really stuck out to me. Duo Buff said, "Well deserved in my opinion. Even without traditional storytelling, I was always so immersed in this world and wanted to keep exploring to find new things and to hopefully understand it better. Elden Ring also used its medium to tell the story in a way only a game can." And I think this reply has the secret of why it won this award, keeps getting nominated for awards for its story. And it all boils down to one trick, one creed that all of From Software Software's games abide by, that makes not only the gameplay but the lore so immersive to where we have hundreds of people making thousands of videos telling the same stories in different ways, even decades after they've already been told. And the secret behind it is intention. One of the places in Elden Ring where we can see this concept in action is Stormveil Castle. The environmental storytelling in this area is top-notch, to the point where going through this castle is essentially a guided tour, painting you a picture of the boss that's waiting for you at the end. The state of the castle's architecture is reflective of Godrick's personality and story. He is a usurper, a fraud, holding to his last bits of legacy from his forefathers, but unable to ever rise to their magnificence. And so we see the golden ornamentation of the castle stitched together with rugged wood in a pitiful attempt to repair its wounds. Everything in this game is placed and crafted with intention. Everything is the way it is for a reason, and therefore the story is woven into every aspect of the game. And it's incredibly rare where you actually get a game that succeeds in this, in a way that allows everyone that plays it to get something different out of their experience, all the while having a concrete foundational story that pulls all of those experiences together. But that can only happen if the concrete foundation is actually good. The lore of Elden Ring shines so much brighter because it's built off the back of really solid traditional stories woven into the game. For example, you know they did something very right when more players completed an extensive side quest that spans the entirety of the game than the base ending. So that means more players wanted to see the ending of this side story and went through the work to figure it out than players who were just trying to finish the game. And while the side quests do provide you with useful items, you have no way of knowing if it's going to be something useful or practical to your build. And that should tell you something regarding the stories here. The real payoff is seeing the conclusion, and it's only worthwhile because of a good story. The story of Elden Ring is at its core the antithesis of what speculative fiction should be. The fact that we have conversations about the lore this far from release, with new theories and findings popping up nearly every day, means that the story had a lasting impact. It causes those that experience it to think and think on it for a long time. It makes us speculate, and honestly that's why I like this type of storytelling so much more than traditional means. It's why I can play From Software games so many times over and still be enticed and fascinated every time. So for me personally, I'll take a story that takes work to figure it out with the satisfying payoff that leaves me thinking about it for years, over one that's easy to understand the first time and is gone as soon as it's over. So overall, I'm really happy that Elden Ring won this award and that we're finally getting some real recognition from scholarly sources about how good this story is. And I'm so excited to see this story continue. But anyways guys, that's gonna pretty much do it for the video today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like on it and let me know down in the comments below, do you think Elden Ring's story deserved to win this award, or do you think it should have gone to another game? Either way though, be sure to subscribe if you want to stay up to date on all things Elden Ring and From Software, and with all that, I will catch you in the next one.